Well, hey everyone, Catherine and Erica here from Catherine Puller Designs. Welcome to our second episode in our Crafty Christmas series.
Yes, and this series is Crafty Christmas with Catherine and friends. And so tonight we are joined by our friend Daniel West.
He is going to show us about creating light with ink. What kind of ink? Catherine Puller ink.
We are going to learn so much. I cannot wait to see what he's going to create. So,
before we dive in, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, give a thumbs up, and leave a comment so that our guest creators know how much we appreciate them being here on the channel with us. And without further ado, let's see what Daniel's got up his sleeve for us.
Hey there, this is Daniel West. Happy to be here with my session on the Crafty Christmas with Catherine and Friends series. And I'm so excited to share a little technique. I don't know what to call it. We're going to call it ink blending for lighting results. How about that? We're going to make kind of light features happen here with ink blending. And just takes a simple blending brush, some amazing Catherine Puller inks, of course, and a little bit of patience. I'm going to do these in real time, especially the first one, and I will skip over a little bit on the others. I'm going to make 3 cards here, but I just want to start our little technique here with a piece of yellow, very light yellow cardstock. Don't worry if you don't have yellow cardstock. You can just make your own by dipping some Catherine Puller ink over it or into an ink pad, and you will have your own colored paper on hand. But you will need some blue suede shoes or dress blues ink. I'm going to use both of them here. And some patience just to gently tap that ink into your brush, or tap the brush into the ink, then tap onto your glass surface and lightly cover your cardstock in a vignette pattern. So we're just going to leave the inside very yellow, and we're going to gradually just add layers and layers of ink here. What I love about Catherine's inks when you blend with them is that if you do get a little splotchy area and you act quickly, you can just blend it right out. So I don't have to be so careful. Did you see that just happen? I just had 2 little brush marks there, and they just polished right out with a little bit of going over them, you know? That's what I love about it. You don't have to be super duper careful, and you can have fun with this, right? It's funner this way. I love the formula. I don't know what it is. Maybe she just added a touch of magic and a lot of love into her formula. But Catherine Puller inks are fab. Fab, fab, fab. So, especially for ink blending. So we're just going to make this vignette happen here. And you're probably asking, doesn't yellow and blue make green? Well, it depends on how intense your blue is. If I was to just add a little bit of oh boy ink on here, it may turn it green, but because I'm using a pretty intense concentrated color of blue and dress blues and then suede shoes, it's not going to turn the panel green. Let's grab our manger scene here out of this fantastic stamp set. This stamp set features lots of silhouette images for the Christmas season. It's called Let Us Adore Them. Let Us Adore Them. Right? And it has this manger scene. It has a shepherd scene. It has the 3 wise men. It has an angel. It has a donkey. And some great sentiments stylized in Catherine Puller's whimsical design. And we're going to use stamps from that on all 3 of our cards today. And I just stamped it down right here in the middle of my light scene. So it looks like light is emanating out of the manger. and I used a full strength blue there that I was using to blend out in that vignette pattern. Now, we're not done with that card, but I do want that panel just to sit for a while I work on my other cards. Here I'm going to grab my S'mores, which is a neutral color. It's kind of a brown, dark brown. And I'm going to take another brush, a different one, because I don't want to mix this with blue. I'm going to tape down the horizon with some Perfect Crafting tape. This tape is impermeable to water, so it won't let ink through like some other masking tapes do, kind of like the Post-it tapes. If you lay down a lot of ink, you're going to get some seepage through to the other side, and I don't want that. So eventually I'm going to use the same tape to do direct to paper with my ink pad. So I just decided to use this yellow Crafty tape, this Perfect Crafty tape. Now, I'm darkening up the edges, especially on this one. I want the vignette to be just the top 2/3 of, or 3/4 of my card. And then I'm going to lay a horizon out down below. Now, I made a big mistake here, and I'm going to show you how I fixed it. I usually like to heat my tape up with a heat gun before I peel it up. But even after I did that, this tape peeled up the cardstock that I was using. So what am I going to do? I heated it up a little more and carefully peeled from a different direction. And now I have two pieces, little dog ears, hanging out here on my card panel. I could throw this away, but I worked hard making this little vignette, and I'm not going to throw it away because I have a solution to this problem. And if you pay close attention, you'll see it coming up. Just grab some liquid adhesive. I have mine here in my Sweet Petunia glue press, and we'll fix that here in a minute. First, let's lay down the S'mores ink direct to paper here, getting it nice and saturated. We want a completely dark horizon here on the bottom third or quarter, almost, it's between a third and a quarter of my panel. Press that down and then peel up the tape. I didn't push the tape down very tightly this time, and so it comes right up. And now look, I've got kind of a vintagey looking background, right? But see what I did there? I just grabbed some glue, put it underneath my dog ear, take my finger, and then press the excess glue out. No one will ever know that that was like that except you guys. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And now add a couple acrylic blocks there until it dries. I set that aside and come back to it in a minute. See, it's been a minute, quick minute. I have too much fun. Anyway, so let's ink up our 3 kings, and we're going to put them on the right third side of our project, stamp them out, and then we've got 2 panels done. So let's put them aside, and we'll start our third panel, this time with some light red or pink cardstock, and I'm doing this one upside down. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I'm going to add some Cranberry Fizz onto the front here with my vignette kind of starting a third of the way down, right? Or once I flip it over, a third of the way up. Then I just add that vignette here with all of this beautiful red ink. Get it nice and dark. Try not to let any of the brush marks show. Be light-handed as you go down the page a bit. Darker as you're up at the top. Heavier handed, I guess. And then just on the very edges, add a little bit more to this vignette. And you want that to look a little foggy, I think. It's kind of fun. And I'm going to grab my S'mores again, and I'm just going to darken up the edges here, because I want it to look like a night scene. It's going to be a red card, but it turns out this one is my favorite of all 3. So you'll see why in a second. So just use that S'mores ink. to get a little more depth on your card here. And the foggy scene comes together, I think, really well here. Just being soft-handed, light-handed there as you come down the page. It's super fun to make these, and I think the results are just fantastic. Look how beautiful that blended piece of cardstock is. I love it. You could actually blend an entire panel if you want, but I prefer to start with colored cardstock that I had in my stash. So I stamped out the shepherd and the sheep, right? Love that silhouette. But what are we going to do for the center of that vignette there? We're going to put a star in there. We're going to heat emboss that star. First, we're going to clean off our stamps. Did you know you can just use water on Catherine Pooler stamps and just wipe them down? Super easy. Super fast. I like that. And now we're going to grab our water bottle, spray down the workspace. I've been doing this periodically throughout my project making today because it's very important. You don't want stray smudges and smears everywhere. We're going to tuck our little guy into the corner of our Misty. And I like to do that several times as I work, just because I like to restamp things, and I just always make sure it's in the corner. So I prepped it with some anti-static powder. I know that my star is going to be placed in a part of the panel that didn't have any ink going on it, so I'm not worried about this ink sticking in places that it shouldn't, but I did want to prep it beforehand. And once I get the white embossing powder laid down, I'm going to shimmy it just a little bit, just to kind of get it into all the nooks and crannies. And some of that gets on his staff. You just flick the panel and it comes right off. All right, see? Now I just melt that star right on the front, and that's not even all the magic we're going to see here. Check out this magic. What I'm about to do is add some light to the back of my characters. How am I going to do that? I'm going to grab a white gel pen, a juicy white gel pen. It's not overly juicy, but it's mildly enthusiastic. I'm just going to lay some of that down on the outside edges, the tops, and a bit here and there on my little silhouette. And I think this makes the whole card just absolutely pop, right? It looks like light is just hitting the tops of the staff, the sheep, and the shepherd. The legs, I'm going to get the legs, and the whole robe of my shepherd is going to get just a little bit of outline. And if it doesn't cover it completely, that's fine. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to be a little haphazard, right? You don't want it to be fully outlined. Just add a little bit of light here. This technique just made my day. When I saw it work out here like this, I was so happy. Made me super smiley. And now the robe here at the bottom is going to get a little bit of that treatment. Look how it just makes everything pop. Makes it look real. Gives it dimension, you know. I love it. Super happy with this one. Then I grabbed that same white gel pen and I wanted to do it with the three kings. And the three kings are already kind of outlined and the light is at a lower position, so it didn't work out as well. But still, it looked good on the outside of that last king on the right. I'm going to take a Deco trimmer and trim these down 1/4 inch on all sides, giving them kind of a rough hewn look. I like that for my 3 cards. They're all going to get the same treatment. This Deco trimmer. And then I'm going to pop them up on the front of a top folding A2 size card base. The first one I'm going to use fun foam instead of foam tape because I've had this piece of fun foam on my desk for months. And I just decided it's time to use it. So I trimmed it down, put it on the back of my blue panel, and popped it up on the front of my top folding card base. And then I used one of those big white bases for die cutting. This is the Sizzix base. If you may have a Spellbinders base there. And I just laid it down there for about 10 minutes and let that set and looked at my phone. checked Instagram and emails. Let it set and then picked it up and it was all ready. The other two I'm going to pop up with foam tape, and this is the kind you can tear. It's called mounting tape. All right, and just trim it down, peel off the backing, and pop it up on the front of another card base. I like to use the glue because it, gives you more time to position things. But if you don't push this down with your hand, just lay it lightly on top of your card base. You can move it if you need to. I didn't need to because I'm perfect about everything I do and never make mistakes, but I can understand where others might need the extra grace. So, I'm just kidding. Anyway, here's the red one. Did the same thing. And now we need sentiments. So I'm doing this kind of all three at the same time for each step, because it's just easier to foil all of these at one time as well. So I'm going to grab the foiling stamps from this release. Some of them kind of match what we already have in this stamp set, which is super fun. I'm going to do copper for the Oh Come Let Us Adore Him, and then gold for the others. The blue and the red are getting gold. I just lay that foil shiny side down on top of my foiling stamps, and then lay a piece of white cardstock over that, heat it up, run it through my die cutting machine, put that aside, and then let it cool down before I peel that up. That'll help the glue set and the foil stick, right? Now I did something I shouldn't do next, and that is when I die cut these out, I wasn't careful enough not to let my tape touch my foiling. And so on a few of these, I pulled up just a little bit of the foiling on some of the words, but I have a solution for that problem too. I bought some metallic color pens from online. I'm not sure even where I bought them. I think on Amazon. But just come in when you have a foiling job, but it just doesn't fill in completely instead of throwing that work away. I know it's just paper, but foil is not cheap. So just take a little metallic pen and fill it in, and you got it refoiled, and it looks shiny too. Just got to be really careful. And there we have Oh Come Let Us Adore Him, and it looks really good. Makes me happy. Nice and shiny. Where am I going to put this sentiment? Top third. Little intersection there. And then this one as well on the right third side of my card. And now for the sequins. Always I do a W. And in my last video I did with Catherine, they mentioned that her technique is tucking them under. Well, I like to tuck them too now. So I did my W, a zigzag of glue dots, and then I tuck in some of the sequins underneath my sentiment. And I have two untucked, right? I keep going over it with my little Marvel or Marvy jewel picker, tracing my W again to make sure I get a big one in the middle, a medium size on each side of that one, and then a tiny one on the outside of those. And that's my formula for sequin placement. I no longer spend half an hour trying to decide. I just lay down a W with my glue gun here. This is a glue press, precision glue press from my Sweet Petunia. Lay down my W and then pop my sequins in over that. I got a little rambunctious with that one piece of glue or drop of glue there. Kind of went sideways on me. But no worries. I just kind of tuck it in underneath there and clean that glue up. No one's going to be picking at it. No one's going to be worried about it. I'm the only one who knows that it's there. So here I'm tucking them in as well. And now we've got my sequins on all three of the cards. Done. That sequin mix was Vegas Baby. The other one, the blue one that I'm going to put here, is Oslo. I thought I was done. I wasn't. Oslo. And the red one is being announced this week. So I don't even know if I should mention it. Since you guys pick on me for spilling the beans, I'm not going to tell you the name of it. Maybe if Catherine wants to tell you the name of it, she will. But just so you know, I'm sure that they've already been revealed this week, but just so you know. All right. There they are. There's all three. I love these guys. I love my cards. I hope you enjoyed using these brushing tips for light effects, and you try them out too. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Daniel, for all of those tips and those great cards. My very favorite part was how he had the gel pen and he added the highlighting to the stamped images.
That was really cool. Yes. And I really liked how you used different color combos, Daniel. It wasn't just like a traditional night sky, but using pink and still kind of adding in light detail.
And the yellow and blue.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
So pretty.
So we appreciate you so much, Daniel. Thank you for creating this amazing video.
Also appreciate all of you who've tuned in. Definitely share this video with all of your crafty friends. Let them know we'll be back here again next week with another guest.
Sundays at 7. We'll see you guys soon. As opposed to Sundays at 8. It's Sundays at 7. In case you have noticed that discrepancy.
Also, just so you know, that stamp set is called Let Us Adore Him.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel got one where there was a little typo.
Prototypes.
Yeah. This is why we get samples, and that we hope we catch them if there's errors on the samples.
Once in a while, there's a mistake. Links below for all of the products he used today, and we will see you again next week. Have a great day.
Bye.